Beloved family, something absolutely shocking has taken place in Trinidad and Tobago, where the government of the Republic has removed, through the Office of the Attorney General and the Ministry of Legal Affairs, close to 20,000 businesses, many of them small African-owned firms, companies, registered corporations, contractors, landscapers, electronics, barbers, small contractors, grass cutting, doing repairs on buildings, painting companies, small scale, medium scale construction. Tens of thousands of businesses have been deregistered by the government in early December 2024. This is one of the most wicked possible acts by a government against the masses of the people, already on the backdrop of the refusal to allow the African Bank to be established in Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, while they're in all of these other Caribbean nations, blocking African businesses from access to loans that can further empower them. Now you're taking already existing African-owned companies and wiping them off the registry in the name of not filing taxes. Now, just before I give you the details on this, I want you to think of the possible consequences of this being done. Many of these companies, unfortunately, will not be re-registered because the state is charging, in many cases, exorbitant fees to get the companies back on, and for many it's too much. A lot of these companies, especially the ones owned by small-scale African contractors, are already owed millions of dollars in some cases by the government that they have not been paid but have their businesses removed. In addition to this, we would ask the question, well, why wasn't some kind of announcement put out? They put out a small statement in the Gazette and expected the whole country to see that. Obviously, and the real number is close to 60,000, if 60,000 businesses have been removed from the registry, then clearly something is wrong with the communication channels. You know very well how to get a message across to the people when you want them to vote for you. You are experts at putting advertisements and infomercials on radio, television, newspapers, social media, on banners and billboards on the highway when an election is coming up. But you don't know how to get a message across to the people to help them save their businesses. There are so many people in our country who were on the border of getting involved in crime, who went into business, united, formed themselves into these companies, got registered, and now you're cutting them all off, and you don't expect the crime rate to skyrocket once again? This move is contributing towards destruction of the family, and there are likely to be untold repercussions of doing this to so many poor people. Now, this is from the statement released by the Office of the Attorney General and the Ministry of Legal Affairs on why and how they went about with this economic war against poor people in November, December 2024, removing all of these companies. Listen. Their website says, notice of removal of companies in default of sections 1941 and 3331 of the Companies Act, Chapter 8101, from the Register of Companies. Failure to file annual returns in brackets. The government says, notice is hereby given that, 1, pursuant to section 194 and 333 of the Companies Act, every company and external company respectively must file with the Register of Companies an annual return no later than 30 days after each anniversary date of the incorporation or amalgamation, continuance, or registration. 2. Failure to submit the annual return to the register within the above time frame constitutes a breach of Act 3, Section 516 of the Act, as it imposes a penalty of $300 for every month or part thereof that the company defaults. Now, some companies have not filed for as long as 10 years. Small businesses, small companies owed money that they're not being paid, but now they have to find $3,600 a year for, in some cases, as much as 10 years. Barely making enough money to make ends meet, and have to find now almost $40,000 to pay to put their company back on file. Look at it. Point number 4, in addition to the monetary penalty imposed under Section 516, a company or external company may, pursuant to Section 489 of the Act, be struck off the register of companies maintained at this office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs, for breach of Act. And 5, an audit of the register indicates that the companies listed below have not filed. Now, they have not filed annual returns. The companies listed below on the website. You can pick any letter of the alphabet and you will see hundreds, several hundreds, even in some cases, thousands of businesses under the letter A, under the letter B, under the letter C, D, E, F. Thousands of companies removed without warning, without caution. And I know that the sycophants are going to be prepared to make statements on why didn't you just file the taxes? Why didn't you do what you were supposed to do? Blaming the victim, as is done many times when it comes to politics. But think about what the possible intent could be behind a move like this. We have always known and we've observed as a general public a consistent and continuous, unwavering pattern to continue to help the rich get richer while the poor get poorer, to shut down and close down small and medium-sized businesses and expand further already existing big businesses, to try to make all of us employees and servants and minimum wage workers and employees for the big businesses, so that we don't stand a chance of economic empowerment, but our unity is more powerful than their money. But this particular issue must force us to come together in 2025, not under a political banner, but under the banner of our unity and what we have in common. We must unite and pool our resources in open skills banks and think tanks and economically empower ourselves. And if this is not a wake-up call, beloved, with the government removing tens of thousands of companies without warning and leaving you out there to hire last minute with this new amnesty that is now placed in the middle of January 2025 to put so many African businesses and other businesses out of business. But the difference with the African businesses is that other communities are going to circulate their dollars internally anyway. Many of our businesses, especially the small scale ones coming out of the community, out of East Port of Spain, out of urban areas, many of us have been relying on these contracts from the state that we are not being paid for. So I'm saying to us, if this is not a wake-up call, beloved, then I don't know what is.